Hello, Bible readers. It's Friday, May 7th. We're reading from Jeremiah 45 to 48 and Ephesians chapter 4. I'll start there. Ephesians presumes that conversion leads to moral renewal. That might seem obvious, but that is a claim that the early church, through something like Ephesians, is trying to make. That this isn't just an announcement or a proclamation that God has done something through Jesus Christ, but it is a claim that humanity in response has something happen to us, and that is a moral renewal. Of course, what exactly is the moral standard? What does it look like to love your neighbor? Well, that's what gets fleshed out through each and every generation, including our own. The other point that Ephesians tries to make is it's not just about moral renewal personally. It's not about individual renewal only. Unity is the defining characteristic of Christian community. And so it is a moral renewal that affects the individual, but it's a community moral as well. As my commentary then says, we live in a society, though, where any kind of permanent tie to others is treated as optional. Kids won't miss a team practice, but are completely willing to forego unity in the spirit at their church. Our bond of unity with the church community should, my commentary says, be more important than alternatives that drag us away. That should. In my experience, shoulding people leads to guilt and resentment far more than joyful worship or meaningful engagement. But Ephesians isn't trying to necessarily should and say, get yourself to do this. It's offering a vision, describing what community can mean to its participants, especially Gentiles. As we read of in the last 15 verses, a new self is accessible in Christian community. That's the claim that Ephesians is trying to make, which is a lofty claim, that, it isn't just a self-help kind of, grab onto this way of Christ and you'll be a better person, a more moral person. Instead, you'll have access to a whole new self within a community that brings something out of an individual that nothing else can. Okay, Jeremiah. Your life as a prize of war is what Jeremiah says to Baruch. This is characteristically Jeremiah. It's very on brand. It ties together trust, promise, and enduring the situations that one faces. Baruch, as Jeremiah's scribe, the promise isn't that Baruch is going to attain any great blessing. Health, wealth, and wisdom, not necessarily. You'll survive. That's Jeremiah's oracle for Baruch. Survival during a scary time is something. Chapters 46 to 48, that was chapter 45, which was a previous reading, but that leads into chapters 46 and 48 being oracles against the nations. These oracles go on through chapter 51. And as my commentary says, these oracles against the nations share neither form nor tone. In other words, some announce future destruction with some sympathy, like, oh, and that'll be sad, while others announce future destruction and are simply fiery. Some anticipate restoration, others do not. The rationale for judgment is given sometimes, but not all the time, so they're not formulaic. They're very separate oracles against very separate nations. Poor Egypt, poor Philistia, poor Moab. I am one with my God. My God is with us, all of us, at all times and in all places.